Good afternoon and welcome back to another edition of the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and today we have two people here from the Grand Army of the Republic Hall and Museum. Thank you for coming on the show.
Well, nice to be here.
Thank you.
And would you mind introducing yourself and telling us about the role you play there?
Well, my name is Dexter Bishop, and I'm a trustee to the hall.
Great.
My name is Bob Mathias, and I'm also a trustee to the hall and a former employee.
Great. And could you tell us a little bit about the hall? It has a very extensive history back to, I think it's 1885, was it erected?
That hall was started in September of 1885,
Yeah.
and they moved in April of 86. So about 6 or 7 months, they put that building up and moved in.
Oh, that's
They actually started in 1866 as a Civil War veterans post on the Union side. And it took them 19 years to come up with the $32,000 that it cost to buy the land and build the building.
Oh, wow.
So they finally finished that in April of 1885.
86.
No, that's great. And what is the main purpose of the hall? What was its original intent?
The post, as it was known then,
Yes.
Grand Army of the Republic Post.
Okay.
Its proper name is Frederick W. Lander, General Frederick W. Lander, Post 5, which means it was the 5th post to be constituted in Massachusetts under the overall banner of the Grand Army of the Republic.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh, okay. Good. So it began as a post before becoming what it is today.
That is correct. What you have here today is when the last veteran no longer used the post, it was turned over to the city under the Acts of 1919, which was a home rule petition. And trustees now have the job of ensuring that the memory is not lost and that the post is taken care of.
No, that's great. That's a really nice thing to have. And how did you two get involved with it? I know you said you're a former
Well, I
employee.
used to work there. It was the biggest post in the country at one time with almost 2,000 members. And in fact, in the main hall, we have 1,243 photographs of those members. So when you walk in there, they're looking at you, all 4 sides. So it really is amazing. And how we got involved? Well, I used to work there, and I think it's great. The school children have a ball. I love the kids. We have some trustees that don't like the, there's too much work, but.
We don't need to go there.
Okay, well, we'll get into that later. But it's a great place. You really have to come by and see it at 58 Andrew Street in Lynn.
Yeah. I became involved in it about 30 years ago. I was working with a gentleman who was a member of the Greater Boston Civil War Roundtable, and they used to come to Lynn and use the hall for their annual holiday party. Back then they called it a Christmas party, but a holiday party. And I made the mistake of saying, gee, we should have a roundtable here. And then I went on vacation, and when I came back, I found that I got elected to be president of the roundtable.
And he still is.
And unfortunately, I still am, yes.
President for life.
Yeah.
But we do have many groups to meet down there.
Yeah.
Oh, we did have American Legion groups, VFW groups, and the Historical Commission met there for quite a few years. And the meeting hall that we use for that would be in the basement. And we call that our World War I room. And we have many displays related to World War I that people from Lynn were involved with. And there's 150 that did not return, and their photographs are on the walls. They never became a veteran.
Yeah. Those pictures are called radiotones. Quite rare, in fact. It's a picture on a copper plate.
Oh, okay.
And our hope is that we'll raise some funds to be able to, we can't restore them, but we can halt the deterioration so that they'll just stay what they look like today. Yeah. And so that's one of the many projects that we have to take care of in the future. Of course, right now we're very excited over the fact that thanks to the City of Lynn's position right now, they've going to give us $1.2 million towards putting an elevator, but not in the building.
Oh, okay.
Because the building is a memorial to veterans, not only the Civil War, but all veterans. Okay. So, and because of its age, you're going to build in the left-hand alleyway. I call it a skinny house, but it's a thin building in which there'll be the ramp from the sidewalk, so you could wheel up to the elevator, and then the elevator will take you up and down. Very little impact on the building, just going through windows that are presently in those positions, so that it would make it much easier to get in and out of it.
That's definitely a good idea to do that. And like you said, the building, it's registered as a monument, so you can't really do anything to it, right? Like you can kind of maintain it, but you can't change it.
That's basically it. That under the acts of 1919, if that building was to burn down, the city is called to rebuild it.
Oh, okay.
The only problem is all of the irreplaceable artifacts that are on the inside will be gone.
Right, of course. And how did you get some of these artifacts? Because you clearly have so many very impressive, very rare ones. Where did those come from?
Most of them were donated over the years, starting with these veterans from the Civil War. And today we take donations today. Many people will come down, and sometimes we'll get lucky. We'll find somebody's relative on the walls. We had almost 2,000 members, and there's 1,243 photographs. So when we do that, we have a card system that everything is on that. What regiment they were, when they died, where they were buried. And so some people, it'll be the first time they find, hey, my relative's over at St. Mary's or whatever. And but the donations come from the general public, as well as what was left in the building. And we have many donations. So we have a shell from the Battle of Gettysburg, a tin cup that I found in the attic, which is a crawl space. It's about 4 feet of coal dust up there. But I did find that, so we have it on display. We also have some canteens, some rifles, and quite a few things. So if you're a history buff, and we don't glorify war. We don't do that. The idea is that when the children come in, we try to teach them that from our past mistakes. History is a bunch of mistakes, from the get-go.
Okay.
So we try to teach them the mistakes and so forth, and
we have a minute.
Enlighten them somewhat.
Yeah, but I would be remiss if I didn't say we didn't just have children. We have a lot of adults who come down, and a lot of times will go home with a picture of a relative they've never seen. We even have one picture on the wall that, according to the glass negative, he's in his casket.
Owen McLaughlin is his name.
And so, and you can see that because the mortician is standing next to it with his hand on the casket in his glass negative. So they just cut it out and did that. And I know we only have 10 seconds and we're done.
Oh, is that all we have?
That's all we have.
Oh, we could talk forever.
I know, and you can go a little bit over. That's totally fine. As you said, you can do tours there. That's how people can see.
We enjoy giving tours, whether it be to school children or like Dexter said, we have many people.
As you can see, Bob loves to do the kids. And he takes them through and gives fantastic.
If we get
talks.
through to the kids, particularly junior high school, it's a tough age. The hormones and everything else is going wild. But if we can get through to them, it makes us feel good.
Yeah, and it helps them out.
And oh yes, that's the key. We
Yes.
want to help them out.
Yes. Yeah.
It
Okay.
is. It sounds like you do so many amazing things there, really preserving the history.
Well, this is the whole thing. As we all know, if we don't know our history, we're bound to make the same mistakes. And so, as the trustees of this building and hall, it's our duty to keep the memory alive of what these men stood for. They, as veterans, took care of their own, and this is something that a lot of people probably don't realize, but they, in their money, their time, they spent over $200,000 on taking care of fellow veterans who had or their wives or families. In today's money, that's $6.4 million.
Wow.
So that shows you quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the stories that I like to talk about is if you lost your job and you were a veteran and a member of that post, you didn't go home and tell your wife you're unemployed. You went to the post, and then you went home and told your wife about your new job. That post, in the lifetime between 1866 and 1900, produced 7 mayors for the city of Lynn.
Wow.
And we have photographs in the main hall.
Yeah.
Of I believe 5 of them.
Yeah. So
Including Roland Usher, who was the mayor right after the Civil War ended, and was also in the war, and we have his uniform.
yeah, and we also look at the fact that GE is in Lynn today because of members of this post. We have the documents that show the history of how the Edison worked his way up from Connecticut and became part of the Houston Electric, or Lynn Electric as it was known back in years. And it just goes on, the information that's there.
It all sounds just amazing, all the information you have, and thank you for coming on to share some of it with us.
I wish we had more time.
No,
I don't
me
mean to interrupt, but
No, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, I did too. I love history too, so I love hearing about all of this. Thank our guest again for coming on, and again, I'm Dani Vittori. That's the end of this week's Lynn Lowdown. Come back next week for more.